Welcome to the Get Back, music work talk in Central Texas, Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed, private sector, employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome to the Get Back. It is April 22nd, 2022. I'm Aaron, and Russell is here with us as well. Hello, Russell. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We always start by calling attention to the links down in the description of the show there, and that has all the basic links for getting a hold of the union and some other things for economic recovery for musicians from the pandemic, which is mainly what we've been talking about on this show. And if you watch this episode on the archived version, we'll also have the links to the articles that we talk about from the news there. But those aren't there yet if you're watching live, if you're right with us live. So if you are watching live on YouTube, you can type in the chat if you have a question or a topic you think we should talk about. We'd be happy to interact there as well. So let us know. Beyond that, I guess we always start with beverages. I'm doing coffee as usual. What are you drinking there, brother?
Spring water as usual.
Oh yes, yeah, man. The beverage
it works. Don't fix it.
Yep, that's right. Remarkably consistent. Yeah, man. And I think you're wearing your Juneteenth shirt there. I've seen that shirt before. That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Love it. Yeah. Right on, man. All right. Well, gosh, I've got a few things kind of locally on the agenda here. We have
an election coming up.
Well, yeah. What do you know about that? Let's jump right into that, man.
Yeah, it's for there's two Constitution amendments on the ballot,
Mm-hmm.
and I think early voting starts. Is it next Tuesday? I believe.
I think that might be right. And then the election day is it the first Tuesday in May or the second Tuesday?
I think it's the second. I think it's May 2nd.
Oh, it's May 2nd. Well, that's a Monday.
But I'm ready.
Yes, indeed. Man, and of course, this is going to have the runoffs, which you can only vote. These are for the primary, so you can only vote for either the Republican runoffs or the Democrat runoffs. And I think to vote in either one, you have to register with that party. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you already registered, or if you already voted in the primary back in, when was that? March?
I can't remember now. We have so many.
No, earlier this year. You have to. I think you have to stay with the same party that you registered for back then. I think, or maybe you can switch. I'm not sure. You know anything about that?
I think you can switch because you can call yourself independent.
Okay. Okay. Well, so there may be some of us who are interested in voting for the other person in the Texas Attorney General primary on the Republican side, even if we don't vote Republican necessarily.
There was, I hate to say this, but there was a time when I was younger when you knew that a candidate couldn't win, and you'd go over to the other side and vote for that guy so you get run against your candidate and get blown out.
Hmm.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but man. So, but yeah, that is coming up. What do you know about the amendments?
I don't have very much information now. My plan is to study that over the weekend and make sure that I'm well versed and ready to make an educated decision.
I have to admit I'm not up on it either. So we'll both look at it. We'll talk about it next week for sure. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think you're right. The early voting will start. I think probably next week, right?
Yeah, I did get the dates, so I
Cool.
know that's accurate.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. So if you're watching at home, let us know what you're thinking about that, and you may have already voted by the next episode, but that's okay.
And you should familiarize yourself with the amendments and come join us. Talk about it with us.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Especially if you are a musician.
That's right.
Indeed. Right on, man. Yeah. And yeah, we can't take any of these elections off. We got to vote on all of them because there's mischief in every single one, it seems like, that we got to keep an eye on. So, oh man. All right. Well, the first other bit of local news I had was about the airport, and that's relevant to musicians who are flying. And we know a lot of our brothers and sisters are flying for work right now. And yeah, apparently there's just been horrendous wait times at the Austin airport, and the TSA is sending additional agents to try to reduce the wait times. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. You may need to get there, kind of like we did after 9/11, where you had to get to the airport 2-3 hours early instead of 1 hour because the lines were just out the door. It sounds
And
like
it's not just the TSA. It's they don't have enough pilots now,
oh really? Wow.
and the ones they have are overworked. And like, we can't put you back up in there without the appropriate number of hours off.
Yeah, the rest. Yeah, you don't want them falling asleep at the wheel.
Right?
I mean,
Yeah, we can't have that.
nope. So, travel is a little bit difficult. But if as long as you're prepared, you can get there. So yeah, man. But that working concern, in addition to getting your instrument on the plane and all that other stuff that we always have to worry about. Oh
And
man.
now the mask mandate has changed.
Well, yeah. So that's the other thing. What do you hear?
That and I'm not really certain about this because intercontinental flights you still have to wear them,
Oh.
but for national flights you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly you don't have to wear them on the plane, but when you get to the airport you're supposed to put them back on.
Oh wow.
So that's kind of strange, and there's kind of talk that the CDC might try to appeal it and override this judge's ruling.
Yeah, because it was
So,
it was a judge in Florida that made the
yeah,
ruling, and it had sort of opened the door for the airlines to drop the policy, but the airports themselves haven't dropped the policy. It sounds like.
right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Which is pretty strange. I mean, I didn't think that a federal judge could just, well, you don't have to wear them.
Yeah. 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 So we will see. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is known that this is a very young judge that was a Trump appointee because he appointed dozens and dozens and hundreds of judges, I believe. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I think what the latest from the CDC was that they were looking at it like, okay, we'll look at opposing the reversal of this, when the cases start to go up again, if that happens or something. I think that's sort of what they're thinking. But
Well, the literature says that they're concerned with this because future pandemics, they don't want to have
yeah,
judges overrule them and
right.
have the public safety being questioned.
Yeah, this whole circus of activist
That's a,
judges, right? I mean, that's really what
yeah,
it is. These are activist
exactly.
judges, which is what the conservative side has been talking against for decades. Activist judge, we can't have activist judges, and their judges are activist judges.
There you
So
go.
yeah, it's pretty silly. So man, but anyway, as far as musicians are concerned, if you have to travel, no one can stop you from wearing a mask, and
Right.
yeah, that's still true and true everywhere in the world. Yeah, and that might be a good idea. I mean, we know that planes are pretty safe with the air circulation, but you still got to sit really close to people. So,
That you don't know.
yeah, you don't know. Yeah, exactly. You can't know. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, yeah. So we'll just keep an eye on it, and if you're traveling, be safe, and yeah, because a lot of us are, and we have to. If you get that travel gig, you got to take it these days, man.
Right.
So, gosh. All right. Um, well, I mean, I guess this is a local issue now, but um, this whole thing where Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter, and apparently he's got the financing lined up to do it. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's sort of like the old newspaper barons, where the rich guys would buy up newspapers and control the flow of information that way. Although, I don't know, Twitter's really not as reliable a source of information as newspapers ever were, so. But it sure is popular, you know?
Well, it's kind of strange because it's a hostile takeover.
Mm-hmm.
And Twitter says that if he continues, they're going to have this poison pill strategy where they're just going to blow up the company so he can't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know, that seems kind of extreme.
It is, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like, I mean, personally, I feel like, I mean, if he were to own Twitter, I mean, that would be the best reason for us to stop relying on Twitter so much for news.
Sure.
I mean, we have to. I mean, and that's true anyway. We have to stop relying on social media for news because it's so tainted with, whatever, not just whatever we put into it, but it's so tainted by the paid advertising that's on it. It's a huge problem, and there's no journalistic responsibility at all. And
Right, yeah.
because it's literally not journalism. That's not what it is, and people, we've kind of come to treat it like that's where so many of us get our news, and yeah, so kind of scary. Well, we'll see. And that's local now because apparently he lives around here now and is doing business out of Austin, Texas now.
Yeah, and he has a big factory now out in Del Valley now. It's open and up and running.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So, and we know, union workers built a lot of that factory, but those jobs aren't union jobs out there. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
But maybe eventually that may be the straw that breaks the camel's back in Texas. I mean, these egregious working conditions that we know have happened in the California Tesla plants. Maybe that'll start things, changing for the better here when folks start organizing around that, because we have to.
Well, a lot like Amazon, he is vehemently opposed to having unions.
Oh yes, yeah. That's why he's here. That's
He
why he
doesn't
came to
mind
Texas.
telling you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I got more on that in a little bit, but I wanted to get through a little more local stuff. The Moody Center opened, the big new venue locally here that is taking the place of the
Yeah,
Frank Irwin
yes.
Center. So
Mhm.
they're closed. They've closed the Frank Irwin Center now.
Everything's going over there. The basketball games are going to move over
Mhm.
there. The concerts are going to move over there.
And are they gonna?
And I
Are they
think
gonna?
the graduations are going to go over there too.
That would make sense. Yeah, it's owned by UT, but it's called the Moody Center.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, do you know what they're doing with the old Frank Irwin Center?
I don't know.
Seems like it'd be a shame to
No,
just let it sit there, but I don't know.
and no one's really said. I mean, they're going to like tear it down or and it's hard to figure out what they want to do with that.
Yeah.
Because you know they want that teaching hospital to expand over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and that real estate's got to be worth a fortune. So, yeah. So, yeah, I would expect they're going to do something else with. They're going to tear it down and do something else with the land. But I guess they could. I mean, it would make sense. You could convert the building into a hospital, I suppose. But yeah, that might be more expensive than rebuilding it. I don't know.
They want to have a first class medical school right here.
Yeah. But anyway, we can speculate about that. But the apparently the what John Mayer played, was it last night or 2 nights ago?
Don't know.
Yeah, but
I think he was the first one to first concert though.
I believe that's the case.
First
Yeah,
one in, yeah.
yep. So and I mean, I saw some of my friends on social media again that went to the concert. They said they had a good time. It seemed to be a good experience, and I hope it is. The Frank Irwin Center, was I heard a few concerts that sounded good at that place, but I heard a lot of them that didn't sound that good in that big cavernous space. So hopefully this is a little bit better acoustically. Um, and
It was
it's
a lot of work to pull a decent sound out of Irwin Center.
yeah,
It's a lot of
absolutely,
work.
yeah. And I mean that seems to be part of the design of this new facility, the Moody Center. So hopefully that's it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm playing there in a few weeks. I won't say with who yet, but there you go. But anyway, so something to keep an eye on. Let's see what else. Local news. Since the last time we got together, um, Daniel from the band Nane died at the age of 29. That
Yeah.
was really sad and tragic. I still have not heard. I don't know if any information has been released on what happened to him, but he was only 29 years old, and
I've heard.
that band
No
just
one
seemed to
has
be
said.
taken right off.
They were
So
right on the cusp. And
yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, yeah, condolences and prayers to the family there, and yeah, jeez. I mean, I guess I would like to know what happened, but if the family doesn't want it known, then I don't want to know. But
right.
yeah, so anyway, just wanted to mention that there is an article in the Statesman about the border stuff that Abbott's been doing with these what I guess what were they? They were slowing down the trucks coming in from Mexico because they were inspecting like every commercial truck or something, even though they didn't used to do that.
Yeah. And he's basically created or recreated that log jam that was in Canada, except he's doing it now by stopping
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw one estimate that said it cost like $4 billion or something like that. The total in disruption to the economy, and yeah, it's kind of all for show.
Oh, he's on a roll.
Yeah,
Between that and taking buses and taking people to Washington for no apparent reason and dropping them off, he dude's on a roll.
yeah, yeah. And this is all to say, from our perspective, is it's very important that everyone votes all the time. Yeah, yeah. My goodness, and we'll get the chance to vote for the governor in November, I believe, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, there just seems to be all this theater about this border crisis that doesn't really exist. So, yep.
Yeah, and I hate to say, this is one thing that I just never have been able to wrap my head around. I mean, he's not legitimate either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not an indigenous Native American, what's your beef?
Mm-hmm.
You should get on the bus too.
Mm-hmm.
Stop with all this, superiority thing, and I decide who gets to live in the United States. Just give that a rest.
Yeah.
I mean, how'd you get here? Let's trace your origins back.
Right. I mean, yeah. We're all from somewhere else,
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, give us your tire, give us your poor. I mean, what happened? Come on, give that a rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It's sad stuff. But anyway, everyone must vote. Well, that's the end of my the stuff I had for local news. But I got a couple of things about labor news. Did you have anything else
Imagine what
local?
they are. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you you already mentioned one of them. Yeah, one of them is the Amazon stuff, and I've got an article here from Labor Notes, just about how the backlash in the Staten Island warehouse has been, and they're accusing the organizers of, distributing weed and all kinds of stuff, and like, oh my goodness, and like
You
they're,
knew it was coming.
yeah.
They dirty pool. You knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm. It quotes the number here. Amazon paid out $4.3 million last year to Unionbusters, whose job it is to psyops and lie and distort facts to prevent workers from joining unions. That's a lot of money. I mean,
Sure is.
my goodness, that could pay for all the raises that the workers are asking for. 4 times over probably. And now they're accusing the organizers of causing a suicide of one of the other workers. I mean, it's like they're getting really dirty, because they're just grasping at straws. They don't have anything else,
Nope.
So,
And allegedly, they're looking to seek some sort of legal remedies to block the actual negotiating.
mm-hmm.
So they're just going to stall it for years. So
Mm-hmm. Well, that is always
we're not doing that.
that's always their move. Is they
Yeah.
always, even after the union recognition is won, you still don't have a contract,
Right.
and the company looks to delay that. That's another thing that the PRO Act is designed
Stop.
to fix, but we haven't passed the PRO Act yet, and we need to, because it's very easy for the companies to just delay and delay and delay and delay that contract, even after they've been forced to recognize the union. They keep delaying it, and the PRO Act fixes that, as well as fixes all these other things that these companies are doing. These closed shop meetings, the anti-union mandatory meetings that they will make the workers go to. All these things, even the thing that's happening with the San Antonio Symphony that's still on strike. Where the management, put out their last best offer before they came to impasse, and they were able to implement that last best offer, which was to cut the orchestra in half, and that's why the musicians went on strike, because that was was totally unfair. But under labor law, as it currently is, they're still allowed. The management is still allowed to implement that last best offer, and the PRO Act gets rid of that as well. That should never have been allowed. It should go back to the previous contract terms, not the management's last best offer, because that just causes all kinds of terrible contracts to be to be forced on workers, and that's not good at all. So, gosh, yeah, I mean the PRO Act, it's kind of coming back, but unless it gets, unless it goes for budget reconciliation, as far as the Senate being able to pass it with the 51 votes instead of the 60 votes, I don't see that it's going to happen. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, Amazon fighting dirty, and then there's another article about our other favorite giant corporation that you mentioned, or no, did you mention Starbucks already? But
Nope, didn't mention them.
Yep.
They were coming.
they're fighting dirty too, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I saw another article. I don't have it here, but that the new CEO of Starbucks was recorded on a meeting, like begging the local managers to do more union busting. And then that got out on the internet. So watch your Zoom meetings, y'all. So we're broadcasting voluntarily right now, but the article I do have right here is from Labor Notes as well, and it's actually from 2 days ago, but it's about how the Starbucks in New Jersey has gone from they were so, the management was so unsuccessful with doing the anti-union meeting with the workers at this one Starbucks that they canceled the second one, and they decided to try to do one-on-one meetings, which were even less successful.
Worse, yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I mean, it's kind of funny how badly this went for these Starbucks managers, because the workers were prepared, for them. They were ready for all the issues and questions, and the managers were not prepared to answer any of their questions or anything. And I think at one point one of the managers handed the script for the meeting that they got from corporate to the worker, and the worker walked out of the room with it, and shared it with all the other workers, like, look at the script. And it had fill in the blank, share a personal story here, share your favorite Starbucks memory here, or it's just like, oh no. And it's kind of funny, but I think what it means, I think that the big picture that we need to take away from this, though, is that we got to get ready for a lot of anti-union misinformation. They're going to start flooding us with it all across the country, because these companies have money. They can pay for advertising. They can pay to boost their Facebook posts. They can pay,
Right.
They can pay to boost their Twitter posts. They can pay for paid advertising on all those platforms, on television, on radio, on streaming platform, everything. They all media. They can. There's so much money tied up in these corporations that they're kind of stumbling right now, but they're going to get their stuff together, and they're gonna start hitting really hard with misinformation, and there's no law that protects against that right now. But the PRO Act would protect against that, but we don't have it yet. We got to get it. We got to get the PRO Act. So
The only law is protecting them from doing it to each other, not them from doing it to us.
that's right. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah. So we gotta be educated about this stuff, and we got to be ready to talk to our friends and family about it, who are going to see some of this stuff and be like, oh, I heard that the unions are bad, or whatever, or I heard that Starbucks is really, really nice, like, yeah, they used to be really nice until the workers wanted to unionize, and now they're getting dirty. And Starbucks has been getting dirty. So Amazon has been getting dirty the whole time.
Oh, yeah, they've been horrible.
Yeah, man. So, man, yeah, I think we're just gonna have to keep watching for it. But but we're on the right track. We're talking about it. We got to keep talking about it. It's a little. It might be a little ironic. We'll have to watch out. If we're buying our coffee from union workers, and we don't have union contracts for a lot of our musicians. That will be a very ironic thing.
Right.
That'll really be a teachable moment. Hopefully, we won't get to that point. Let's get more union contracts for musicians before all of our baristas are unionized. But Not that we want to slow them down. We want them to keep going. But yeah, but let's all do it because
It's a great timing because you can ask for stuff and be surprised you can get stuff now.
yeah, yeah. No, and the way inflation has balanced things out, every employer is going to have to pay more just to retain workers because
You just have to, yeah.
that great resignation is still going on and unemployment is still getting lower, you know. So, people are finding jobs, that pay better than the jobs they're leaving. So, pay more. Like, people need more money, that's just a fact.
Benefits.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. And, we have to fight back against those politicians that want to dissolve Social Security and Medicare, like those things. You can't get rid of those things, especially if you're getting rid of, other things that support people in their retirement. It's
Right.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, a lot of things just don't quite make sense. They don't quite add up, and we gotta be ready to talk about that stuff. Yeah. But anyway,
These elections they count. You gotta watch it. They'll slide stuff in, and you scratch your head, going, "When did this become law?"
mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that seems to be happening every single election. There's something that like, wait, what? Like really outrageous things on some of these ballots. Mm-hmm.
You got to watch it.
And I realize I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. Anybody that's watching this show is probably already aware of these issues. And God bless. So, yeah. All right. Would you have anything else before we sign off?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, cool. That's all I have too. If you're watching this and you're in the music business, don't give up. We're coming back all the time. People need us to come back. The world needs us to come back. Everybody loves American music, and we're going to bring it to them. And so we will see you next week. I don't think there's a schedule conflict next week. So we'll see you next week on The Get Back. Take
Like
care.
and subscribe.
Oh, yes, thank you. Like and subscribe. See you next week on The Get Back.